Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Leilu Nishmas Chaim Oren. Gutten Zumer. Sorry for all the technical difficulties. We're having the same technical difficulties when Avraham is not available. He's on his way somewhere important, and Memela, I apologize for the delay. If you're watching live, we had like a 30-minute delay, and I really apologize for that. So we're here in Chicago, still in the hotel. It's Matzah Yom Tov Sheni, and it's already morning in Eretz Yisrael. So Be'ez Hashem, we'll be able to see the Shir live in Eretz Yisrael today. In Eretz Yisrael, it's 8 days in the Omer. Actually, here in America, it's 8 days in the Omer. What is it in Eretz Yisrael? Also, 8 days in the Omer. Okay, Givaldik. Couple of quick emails. 5 words, 1 Avram, ongoing unimaginable reward is the subject. The Gemara today is clear lesson to recruiting people to the Daf. We get endless reward. Which is interesting. I'm bringing this email because we're going to have a sugya about Offer ve'efer today. Avraham Avinu said 2 words, Offer ve'efer. Zochu banav l'shnei mitzvahs, Offer para ve'efer Sotah. Darish Rabba b'schar shom Avraham Avinu mechud. Every time we do any of these mitzvahs, Avraham Avinu gets a reward, as we learned. So too says Gershon Rose. If we could get used to seeing 5 words, it will lead us to getting the same ongoing reward. Try saying, "Are you learning daily yet?" Harry Shalom, dear Belly. Just want to express my akar zatayv publicly to the 2 guys from Muncie, Uncle Phil and Mark Ashkenazi. By the way, Mark is filling in whenever Avraham is not available. He helps us behind the scenes getting this technology working. So Yishkoyach, Mark Ashkenazi on my end. But here you have from Harry Shalom. They've been sending me packages for my kids every Yontif for the last 2 years. Toys for my kids to play with at the Seder and Sukkah decorations. The guy they've never even met. Well, I met Uncle Phil once for a few minutes. But the point is that they think of me. Menachem MDY, what a family. It's truly humbling and touching to be part of it. Recently was the 3rd year of my sister, and I had the zchut to make a siyum on Leilu Nishmas. Thank you, Harry Shalom from Los Angeles. We remember very clearly 3 years ago when Harry Shalom joined us during the Shiva for his sisters during COVID, and he didn't have a minyan, the whole thing. Shaul Jaspin. Dear Rebelli, I wanted to say that Yeshua has been a big nechama for me and my family this year. Maybe Zoicha to the Gula Shlema together with the Gans Klal Yisrael b'meher b'yameinu amen. Leilu Nishmas b'ni Yosef ben Shaul Avram ben Brocha Esther Shaul Jaspin. Your Talmud's in somewhere in Tainus. Rabbis, here we go. The sponsors today, this month, the Koilo, anonymous from Lakewood. The Masechta, by myself, Eli Stefansky, Leilu Nishmas, Menachem Toporowitz, the 39-year-old MDY who was nifter suddenly, Menachem Mendel, Olav Shalom ben ybl'c Chaim Marukim, Yehושע Doiv, Paras HaChodesh, the MDY Family, Leilu Nishmas Chaim Oren, Zuchan Baruch ben ybl'c Eliyahu, Paras HaChodesh, Leilu Nishmas Chaim Bas Yosef, Paras HaChodesh, the Entire MDY Family, Leilu Nishmas Avraham Menashe ben Moshe Aryeh, Paras HaYoim, Adam Pfefer, the memory of Shmuel Baruch Menachem Feival, the yahrzeit is today. And the art is sponsored graciously for complete refuah for Chaim Tzvi ben Leah. For boys, I have Geschmack Sugi today, 25 charts. Feel bad for Yosef. We're holding Daf Yomi Beis. We'll just go back a little bit because just to do the entire sugya. So like 8 lines from the bottom. Makom hayasham amo. So let me show you real quickly what we're talking about. If you remember, there was an amma by an amma, a tile that they would lift up with a ring, and from there they would find some dirt to put into the vessel that contained the water for the Sotah. Here goes. Are you able to see it? Where? No. Oh, okay. Next time we'll get another screen for the big oilam here in this room. So right over there, they will take the dirt. Says the Gemara, Torah Rabbana, Umina Afar Asher Yeh It says in the pasuk. Let's see if we have this pasuk. Here we go. So let's look at the pasuk. The kohen takes water, holy water. So I'm going to offer asher yiyeh. So asher yiyeh means any offer. Offer is dirt. Ayin, offer with the ayin is dirt. Asher yiyeh just happens to be there. Bikarka. Bikarka means from the ground. So we have the green and the red. It's almost like a contradiction. Is it just happens to be there, or it has to be from the ground? Okay. Takes that and he puts it into the water. Says the Gemara, let's say you can't find any dirt. It's a funny, but we need to learn it, even though it's probably not very shy. Well, they're not going to find any dirt in the entire Beis Hamikdash. Fine. But let's say you can't find any dirt. Everything's perfectly clean, it's all tiled. So I would think you just bring dirt from outside. No, it must come from the karka, from the floor of the mishkan. Can't bring it from outside. Maybe if he can't find any, he should dig it up with a shovel. That's why it says no. Do not dig. It's there. Okay, so it's a contradiction. Says the Gemara, no. Yes, sham havei. If you have dirt in the Beis Hamikdash, use that. Ain't sham, taint sham. If there's no dirt in the Beis Hamikdash, bring dirt, but leave it in the Beis Hamikdash momentarily. And once it's there for a few moments, then it becomes part of the Beis Hamikdash, and that's the dirt we're going to use. Again, it's better to use dirt from within the Beis Hamikdash. If it's not available, bring dirt in, but don't put it directly into the kli cheres. Put it on the floor a little bit. Ain't sham, taint sham. You don't have it, put it there. Now we have a machlokes here. Tanya yidach. Same pasuk, different explanation. So the pshat is, we learn from here, they would take dirt from outside and put it inside the vessel. Karka mishkan. But what do we learn from the word karka mishkan? Again, let's go back. Asher yiyeh means it just happened to be there. It's in the ear. The ear makes it kadosh, not the ground, not the karka. So then why does it say karka? So we have two pshatim. It's ben yudoy merla karka shiloi noiv begivain ubeisei lavim. So Rashi takes out these three words: shiloi noiv begivain ubeisei lavim. Okay, the point is the same. Taisus leaves those words in. The question is, the Torah text talks about a site in the Mishkan. Does it apply in other places, like the Beis Hamikdash that we had, or Noiv and Givon? Now Rashi just says that Noiv and Givon, they wouldn't give the site to drink, so that's not what we're talking about. So let's say we take those words out. This says leave those words in. Nevertheless, he learns from the word bekarka that it doesn't matter. There's other places besides the Mishkan that we would give water to drink to the site, like in the Beis Hamikdash. So what do we learn from the word karka? Not that it has to be in the karka. They have to put it down on the floor. Rather, it could also be in the Beis Hamikdash. That's a whole different chiddush. And so soon when we bring up Isi ben Yehuda and we have Isi ben Menachem, the same name, same name but different father. So remember this. He holds the first sheet Isi ben Yehuda that it means not only the Mishkan but the Beis Hamikdash as well. Isi ben Menachem oimer ein tzarach. You don't need a special lima that you give the site of the drink. It's a gavachayim. When it comes to Tumah, you're not going to the Beis Hamikdash, you're not going to the Mishkan. So when it comes to Tumah, just walking to the Beis Hamikdash, we didn't make a difference between the Mishkan and the Beis Hamikdash. Both of them are asur, this kares. So the Tumah seishes, but when it comes to the site, certainly there shouldn't be enough kamina. If it's also in the Mishkan, it's also everywhere. It's also in the Beis Hamikdash as well. So what does he do? Isi ben Menachem, what does he do with the word bekarka? He shouldn't bring dirt from within a box. In other words, if you are to bring from a box, you're not supposed to bring from a box. But let's say there's no other choice. There's no dirt in the Beis Hamikdash. So you do is you bring it in for a few minutes, you put it on the ground, and then you use it. But you don't put it directly from a box into the kli. Okay? You remember the famous Maisa, there's a guy was bringing, in Eretz Yisrael, a car, believe it or not, a car that costs in America $20,000 costs in Eretz Yisrael $45,000, 110% tax, 110%. So there's a guy bringing cars from Jordan into Israel. He's bringing in a pickup truck full of dirt. So the guy at the border says, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm bringing dirt into Eretz Yisrael." Okay. After a few times, the guy said, "Something's suspicious over here." He said, "I caught you. You're probably not bringing dirt. You're probably smuggling diamonds." So he made him empty out all the dirt, and they sifted through the dirt. They couldn't find anything. Turns out that this guy was not smuggling dirt. The guy was smuggling pickup trucks. But he threw the border police off by bringing in the dirt. It's a ma'aseh shkamat. It never happened, but it's an interesting story. Zok the Gemara. Iboilu, ein sham afar maushit and efer. This, Rabbi Isai, is always very confusing for me. I did a small thing. I don't know if this is going to help anybody. Help me. What is offer? What is efer? How do you remember which is what? One is dirt. Here, I actually have, my son did this for me today. This one is dirt. This is from what's his name? Oh, forgot his name now. He gave me these cups last year. I'm trying to remember. I forgot his name for a second. Okay. This is dirt. The number one sponsor. Who's the number one sponsor in the share? The guy that works for the pancake. Oh yeah, Yitzi. Okay, can't believe I forgot his name. I don't know if you can see. This is ashes, and this is dirt. Okay. So the way I remember it is, offer is an aleph, and ashes is an a. Ashes and an offer. But afer with an ayin is dirt. Almost seems different. Seems almost the opposite. Okay. So now the halacha is that you're supposed to put dirt into the water, spring water for the Sotah. What if you don't want to put dirt? You want to put ashes in. Okay, you just came from a chasana. We use the ashes at a wedding, right? To remind of the churban, which reminds me, Taka, there's some people, the last second they try to get the ashes before shkia for the chuppah. There's no ashes. That's one of the yeshiva guys. Hey, smoking, yeah, give some ashes. The Rosh Yeshivas that say no. They don't want to use ashes of a smoker. It's mitzvah ababa avera. Seriously, I heard this thing. So he says, I have some ashes left over. I want to put these ashes on top of the water for the Sotah. Is offer and afer interchangeable? They sound very similar. It's just the only difference is an ayin and an aleph. Says the Gemara, leave it to be shamai leiti ybl'ch. Now we matzinu afer shekari offer. So, if you look at this over here, this pasuk, this is a pasuk talking about paraduma. Paraduma, you take the ashes of the paraduma and you mix it in water, and then you sprinkle people out of tummy. But look at the pasuk. The pasuk says afar with the ayin. What's afar with the ayin? Dirt. How does a paraduma have dirt? Paraduma doesn't have dirt. Paraduma has ashes. Gemara is going to talk about it later. You see that it's interchangeable. Afar and afar are interchangeable, according to Beis Hillel. So according to Beis Shammai, they're not interchangeable. So if the Torah says use dirt, use dirt. You can't use ashes. The question is, I'll leave it to Beis Hillel. The army must know Ever Shekari offer. You see that the pasuk uses the word afar with the ayin instead of afar. They're interchangeable. Maybe you're right. Sometimes they're interchangeable. But over here the Torah says it should come from the ground. And ashes don't come from the ground. Or Dilma, perhaps, look at Isi ben Yehuda. Maybe it comes to the two shis that I told you to remember before. Isi ben Yehuda says that the word karka doesn't mean that it should come from the ground. It means that you can do the Sotah in the Mishkan, you can also do in the Beis Hamikdash, you can do it anywhere. Or the other halacha, they shouldn't bring it from a box. If you bring it from a box, you should put it on the ground. But now that has to come from the ground. The point is, you could also use ashes, perhaps. Says Gemara Tashma. Again, the question is, could you use ashes instead of dirt for the Sotah? Rabbi Yochanan, Mishum, Rabbi Shmuel, B'shleishim Mekaymes Halacha, by Keves Mikra. There are only 3 places in the entire Torah that the Halacha L'Moshe Sinai breaks what it says in the Torah. The Torah says one thing, and we don't go by the Torah, we go by the Halacha L'Moshe Sinai. What are the 3 things? Halacha Keves Mikra. HaTorah Omro Be'ofar. The Torah says that when, interesting that word. The Torah says that if you're gonna shecht a chaya like a deer or a bird, you cover the blood with what? Be'ofar, with dirt. Offer with the ayin, dirt. The halacha is you can cover the blood with anything. Says Rashi, not anything that you could grow something in it. I guess glass wouldn't work, but crushed brick, says Rashi, things like that you could plant things in it and they would grow. You could cover the blood. By the way, it's one of these mitzvahs that's not very common, but if you go to kaparas, I know in Bet Shemesh, by the kaparas, they allow people to take a handful of something, of sand, and make a bracha al kisei adam. So halacha number 1. So in the Torah you should cover it be'ofar, as the pasuk says here. And we say no, you could use the halacha says not only offer, anything. HaTorah Amar Tar. You just finished yourself this nazir. Torah says that the nazir should be careful not to cut his hair with a razor. The halacha is with anything, even pulling out a hair. We said you can't even comb your hair. Person is a nazir, shouldn't comb his hair. HaTorah Amra Sefer. When it comes to giving a woman a get, a wife a get, because I've lost Sefer Krisos. Sefer means parchment. You could write it even on a olive leaf, says Rashi, or a wooden board. And if you're right that by a Sotah you don't have to use dirt, you could also use ashes. How come it's not number 4 in the list? Instead of dirt, you could use ashes. The Torah said dirt, and Halacha Moshe says no, even ashes. Says Gemara Tana B'Shir. It's not a complete list. We said 3 things on the list. There's actually 4. Says Gemara, my shir the shir. The rule is, if you're going to make a list, you don't have to put all the things in the list, but you have to leave at least 2 things. You can't leave out 1 thing. That doesn't make sense. If you're going to leave 1 thing out, just put it in the list. Make a list out of 4. If you have 5 things in the list and you want to make a list of 3 things, that's fine because you left out 2 things. So what's the second thing that we left out? Says the Gemara, Shir Mitzayra. Again, so we need to find 2 things that are not on the list. Then we're okay. So it'll be Sotah. Instead of dirt, it's ashes and Mitzayra. But if I get rid of Mitzayra now, and all I have left is Sotah, then I have the question again. Why is it not part of the list? Says Gemara, Mitzayra, Desanyo. Okay. So let me just say Balpeh, and I'll show you the charts that Yehosha made for this. It goes like this. Not to be scared or confused, very, very simple stuff. We had this in Nazir and it was very gishmak. The Torah sometimes gives us a klal pratu klal. In other words, instead of the Torah saying, do it like this, the Torah says a generalization, do it, and then the Torah goes into very specifics. And then when the Torah is done with the specifics, the Torah generalizes again. So you have a generalization, specification, generalization. So by the Mitzayra, the way it works is a person speaks Lashon Hara, does an Aveira, he gets blotches on his skin. He shows it to the Kohen, and the Kohen says, yeah, you're definitely Mitzayra. He puts him away for 7 days. So when he comes out, when the Tzaraz goes away, the first thing he has to do is he has to shave his body. The Kohen shaves his body. And the Torah says, see if I have this here. No, we'll do this later. Okay. So the Torah says he should shave his entire body. That's it. All of his body, everything. It doesn't say shave the beard, everything. The second time around, after 7 days, he comes back to the Kohen says, okay, now you have to shave again. The first time he brings birds, we'll go into the exact details, birds, blood, put the blood in the bird, and then the water, and then there's the azov, the whole process. But we're talking about the shaving now. So the first time you shave everything. The second time the Torah says shave everything. And the Torah says shave 3 things: the beard, the head, and the eyebrows. So that's the specification. It's very detailed. And then the Torah says shave everything. So what's going on? So it's a klal or pratu klal. Or it could be a riboy miyut riboy. Depends how you learn it. Some Tanaim, they learn a klal, pratu klal, and some call the same thing a riboy miyut riboy. What's the difference? The difference is that a klal, pratu klal, as we're going to see, the in other words, the Torah tells us shave everything. The Torah explains 3 things, and anything that you shave has to be similar to those 3 things. So it's very limiting. It has to be similar to those 3 things. But if you do a riboy, so that means the Torah is only telling you take out 1 thing, as we're going to see. Take out the nose hairs. That's it. But everything else you should shave. So now let's see it inside, and then we'll see the chart. Says Gemara, so this is on the second shaving. It says that you should shave everything. And then the Torah limits it to only 3 parts of the body: the head, the beard, and the eyebrows. And then the Torah says shave everything. This mitzvah should shave everything. So which one is it? He went back and was generalized again. Klal pratu klal, the halacha is yatadon elkein prad has to be similar to his head, to his beard, and to his eyebrows. The what? Ma prat meforish. Mokum kinusar v'niro. Just like the prat is specific. The what? You can see it. It's on the top of the head. It's on his beard. It's over here, and it's also gathered in one place. So we have 2 things going here. It's gathered and it's visible. These 2 things. So all other hair has to be the same way. Any hair on the body has to be seen and also gathered. Says Gemara, for instance, my Rabbi Sarah Reglaim. So Sarah Reglaim is a clean way of saying the erva, because it's gathered, and also if a person is standing there without clothing, you can see it. My miyat. So what does it come to exclude? Miyat the beis hashechi, on the underarm. Now even if a person is standing without a shirt on, you can't really see his underarm unless he lifts up his arm. So that, even though it's gathered, but it's not seen, it's not visible. What the kuli gufa? Now, kuli gufa is all hairs on his body that are visible, but they're missing the other part. They're missing that it's not gathered. So here on the hand, whatever it is not gathered. It's there, sporadic hair. It's visible, but not gathered. You need both. You need gathered and visible. Okay. Now, let's see the charts for a second. So here's a guy with tzaras. He has a beard. He has head hair. Got rid of the beard, got rid of the head, got rid of his eyebrows. That's the klal. The prat is only roishay skoni gavesenov. Those 3. So he takes off that part. The rest of the body, nothing. Klal, but kol sari galeach means everything. So what do? Shmuel says, I'm coming to include Sarah Glayim. There, and I'm coming to be memayed, I'm coming to take off the underarms and the rest of the body. So here it goes. Sarah Glayim, and the underarms and the entire body, the legs, etc. Let's stay there for a second. Now, next line. With all this that it says that you shouldn't You don't have to shave the underarms. You don't have to shave the entire body. But the halacha of Moshe Messinai tells us, Megaleach kidlas. You should shave the entire body like a pumpkin. Here's his art. Gewaldig. That the entire body should be as smooth as a pumpkin. Wherever they got that phrase from. So again, we have a problem. Not a problem, but the halacha of Moshe Messinai says, shave the body like a pumpkin. The Torah tells us, if you go with the klal or prato klal, the Torah says you don't have to shave the whole body. Only places that are gathered and visible. So the beis hashechi, the underarm, you wouldn't shave. But if you, the halacha of Moshe Messinai says you have to shave the underarm. So here's another thing for the list. Now we have 5 things on the list. The Torah says one thing, we do it differently. So it's 5 things. Once you have 5 things, we're okay. Sotah is number 4. Mitzvah is number 5. We have 2 things that are not on the list. We have 3 things that are on the list. You could say the list is not complete. It's a partial list. The first shaving of the mitzvah, you shave him with a razor blade on his entire skin. And what do you do the second time? Thank you. You shave the entire body the second time. Even though the second time we say we have a klal or pratu klal and you don't have to shave the entire body, we shave the entire body. Okay. Says the Gemara, says Menachem, no. That what are the things that we put on the list, something that undoes what the Torah says? But over here, when it comes to the Mitzvah, it's not in the Torah. The Torah never said you should shave part of your body, don't shave your whole body. That's not the Torah. That's Rabbanan learning a klal u'pratu klal. That's not considered in the Torah. We're talking about when the Torah says by a nozer tar, a razor blade, and we say, no, it doesn't mean a razor blade. Yeah? What else do we have? Where's the list? Oh yeah, Kisui Adam, for instance. It says first in the Torah, offer. We say it's everything. Okay. But by Mitzvah, it doesn't say shave this and this part. We learned it from a drasha. That's not considered Mefurish in the Torah. What's on the list? Something that the Torah says razor blade, and I'm going to undo razor blade and go with something else completely. Over here, we said shave 90% of your body, and now I'm adding to it 100% of the body. Okay, so that's like a chumrah. I'm adding to the Torah. That doesn't belong on the list. Rashi has a question that when it comes to a razor, that's also adding. The Torah says use one device to cut the hair, and we're making a chumrah, even if you use a scissor, even if you pull it out with your hand. So Rashi says the answer, he says, I don't like it so much. He says, but you're adding, you're right, you're doing a chumrah, but also you're causing somebody to get malchus in a place he doesn't deserve malchus. Because we have the halacha of lo Yosef pen Yosef. If you hit somebody, you have a fight with somebody, you have a fight with a Jew and you hit him, you're even a da'iraisa. Lo Yosef pen Yosef. So Rashi says, what you're doing is you're creating an issa da'iraisa by adding this chumrah. It's not a chumrah. By you saying that you can't cut with a scissor, now if he does cut with a scissor, I'll give him malchus. That I can't do. He says, I don't like that answer. Okay. Rav Ashi Omar Hamasnisa Mani, Rabbi Shmuel. The Darish Klali Prate. So now the Gemara says, listen, it depends how I learned this pasuk. If I learned the pasuk like a klal, prat klal, you're right. But we're turning to Daf Yomi Bay, sponsor of Hatzlacha, of Leib, Simcha Bracha, the members of the HBA Group and their families, Amen. I have no idea what it says there. 37 minutes, I bet. Okay. But Kidlas Mani Rebakivehi. But there's another way to learn it. That we can learn that the pasuk is saying that you should shave the entire body. We're not adding. It's not halachah l'mishnah. It says mufurish in the Torah that you should shave the body like a like a pumpkin. Why? Because Rabbi Kiva learns the Darish Ribu Meyuti. So Rashi brings that Rabbi Kiva's Rebbe was Menachem Ish Gamzu, the famous Menachem Ish Gamzu, who said Gamzu l'Toiva on everything. And in fact, the Gemara has stories where he said Gamzu l'Toiva, and the donkey died, and the candle went out, and everything was for the better. It saved his life. If you say Gamzu l'Toiva, you understand that everything that happens in life is for the better, then you live a different life. Because if you're able to see it on the spot, great. Sometimes it takes time to see it, but it's the truth. The bottom line is that Rabbi Kiva always learns, instead of klal, prat klal, he learns the same idea, ribuy, miyot ribuy. And what happens when you learn a ribuy, miyot ribuy, instead of a klal, prat klal, it's almost the same thing, but all we do is we take off one item, one type of hair from the body, which is going to be the nose hairs. Let me get that. Okay. So it says in the pasuk, this is the pasuk we already learned. We're doing the same exact thing over, but we're not calling it klal prat klal. We're calling it riba mid riba. It's called sorry riba. This called sorry yigal chaz of riba. I'm going to show it to you in a chart. Riba mid riba call. So it means you should shave everything. My riba the kuli gufay. Everything is arms, legs, everything he has to shave off. Umay mid. So then why did the Torah come to exclude something? Okay, now let's see this. So riboy. Torah says, what does it mean? Everything, his entire body. Miyot. Exclude what? That's Roishav, Iskoni, Gabseinov. Only those three things. So it's a miyot. Then the Torah comes again and says, riboy, Veskol Sarai, everything. So what does it come to exclude? Rabbi Kolaguf, you should shave the entire body, you're right, like a pumpkin. And he was memait one thing, Sarah Choitem. What's the hair that's most obvious that you shouldn't shave? Something that's so not visible, so nobody sees it, the hair in the nose. Okay, oops. Let me go back for a second. Kolaguf. And memait the nose, givaldik. Says the Gemara, my havialo. At the end of the day, can I use this stuff, the ashes, for the Sotah or not? Dom Ravuna Toshma. Dom Ravuna Barashi Omarav. Rav says, ain't shom offer if there's no dirt, maybe rakbuvis yorakum kadosh. You take a vegetable that went so bad that it turned into dust, and you use that instead of dirt in the Sotah water. And Rashi takes out these two words, v'lohi. In other words, the Gemara is saying, it's actually Aryeh, that only a vegetable that goes bad is similar to dirt, and therefore you can use it as dirt. But ashes are not to be used. So the bottom line, the Gemara says, you cannot use ashes. You can only use the dust of a vegetable gone bad. Okay. We learned, the dirt that goes on the Sotah water, you have to be able to see it. It's not like it goes into the water and disappears. You have to see the dirt. There are three things that you must be able to see. In the entire Torah, only three things that you have to see with your eyes. Offer Sotah, the dirt that goes into the Sotah water, the Pfefer para, and the ashes that go into the Paraduma water, the Roik Yavama, and the spit of the Yavama. So, again, just in case this is your first time learning any Masechta, so we have a couple that's married. And the Reuven who's married to Rachel, he has a brother called Shimon. And unfortunately, Reuven goes bye-bye. So the halacha is that Reuven's wife, since they didn't have children, she falls liyibum, she should marry Shimon. Now, if Shimon doesn't want to marry Rachel, so what happens is Rachel removes Shimon's shoe and she spits at it. When she spits at the shoe, or at him, let's see, I have it. Oh, I didn't highlight it, unfortunately, but it says like this. The yarka b'fanav. She spits in front of him, but it says le'einei haskenim. It must be visible to the eyes of the skenim. I had a video, and Yosef seemed to send it to me, but I couldn't. It was very pixelated, and I couldn't see it, and I didn't have time to look for it. There's a video of a real chalitza where the Yavama, she spit at the Yavam, and the Rav said, I didn't see it. Please do it again. I didn't see it. He kept on saying, I didn't see it. And it has to be right in there. She has to gather the spit in her mouth and spit. If he finds it, maybe we'll put it up here. I'll call upon him. It says, fine. Next. Mishum Rabbi Shmuel Amru, Avdam Tzipar. The blood of the bird. So what's going on is as follows. In the pasuk here, I'll show you real quickly. This is, I don't know. I ordered a drawer, a sparrow. This is what came. It's not 100% what I thought it would be, like those little guys that we have chirping around in the neighborhood. But it's a very small bird. And part of the process of the Mitzvah brings two of these guys, and they shecht one of them, and they pour the blood of that one into a vessel. Then they take the live one, the other one, this guy is a goner, take the live one together with the Ezov, the Aryeh, the cedar, and they dunk the live one into the blood with the air, and then they let it free. They let it fly away. So here's the pasuk. We even have Yoshi did something for us. And he dips it in. He dips the live bird bidam into the blood. On the water. So where's the blood? On the water, it seems like. Says the Gemara. He should dunk the live bird and the cedar in the blood of the dead bird. B'tanya b'dam. It says b'dam in red. Yochol badam v'lei b'mayim. Maybe you should dip it only in blood, not in the water. Tamalem b'mayim. Rashi takes up b'mayim. It says mayim. Tamalem b'tanya b'dam yochol badam v'lei b'mayim. Tamalem b'mayim. Maybe I should go with the last words of the pasuk al mayim and not in the blood. It should be in the blood. Okay, it's a contradiction. Is it in the blood? You dip the bird in the blood, or you dip the bird in water? What you do is, says Gemara, okay, it's maybe you take water that you can tell that has a little red in it. V'kama revius. There's a revius here. Okay, so now let's see what Yoshi did for us. Here's the vessel with the water. Oh, this is the dirt of the Sotah. You have to see the dirt of the Sotah. Next, take the blood of the drawer. That's the drawer that I want to get. And now the blood is visible in the water. You see water, you see blood. What does he have next? Oh, this is when it's too much red. So that we'll see soon. Says Gemara, Rabbanan ahul gufei. No, Rabbanan who hold that you don't need to recognize the blood. So, but what does the Torah say? Mayim and dam. It says both. You should have blood and water. What do you do? It's just to tell you how to do it. It has to be blood and water, but it doesn't have to be visible. The blood doesn't have to be visible. You just take a little blood, like putting salt in water. It doesn't mean you have to see the salt. That's all you do. It's a process. You take the blood, put it in the water. If it's true that you're right, that you don't have to see the blood, it should say b'taval behem, in them, in the blood and the water. But why do you have to say the words dam and mayim again? To teach us that it has to be visible, you have to be able to see the blood. Okay, that's a good taina. It should only say b'taval behem. Why does it say the word b'dam? Because So this is a typical classic Gemara going back and forth, how each one learns that. If it just said, you should dunk it, this live bird, you should dunk him into them, so I think that you have to dunk him first in blood, take him out, then dunk him again in the water. That teaches that it has to be together. Rabbi Shmuel, no, it's not true. The Torah already says somewhere else. And the Torah continues that you pour, the blood goes into the water, so we know that it's mixed up. So then why does the Torah repeat b'dam u'mayim? To teach us they have to be able to see it visibly. Okay, so let's see if I have that. 1 second. Oh, you know what? This is good. I didn't realize. Hold on, let's show this. This is gewaldig. This is dipping the bird, the live bird, into the dead bird's blood. Here goes. The Aryeh, and the wing of the bird. That's what it says. The live, because you're not going to put his head in there because he might drown. Put him backwards. Very, very nice. Okay. Okay. Let's go weiter. Says the Gemara. If we'll just say, I'll think that, let me just see if I have that pasuk here. No. Okay. So I think that it doesn't say, it says you should do it over the water, but it doesn't say that it should be mixed in. So maybe it means that you take the bird and you shecht, not this bird is alive, take this goner guy, you shecht him next to the kli, over, but not in. So you put it over, and then after you shecht him, you squeeze its neck real tight so the blood doesn't come out. And then you put him over to the next kli. So you still don't see that you have to mix it. You have to mix it, and very good. What if you have a very large bird, and it makes the entire water red, very red? Or it's a very small bird and it barely, the blood is barely visible. Mao. So who has to? Rabbi Yirmiyah asked Rabbi Zera. Rabbi Zera tells Rabbi Yirmiyah, didn't I tell you a bunch of times? What are you getting involved? What's the lashon here in Rashi? Let me see if I see Rashi here. Kol divrei chachamim shnikvu al tahar achrei. When chachamim give you shiurim, there's no reason for you to start thinking about them. I told you a few times. Chacham gave us the shir. Don't worry about it. Why? Now, the reason why I brought this is because there's some that say it's a sparrow, it's a little sparrow. The Arishonim that say that's any bird that could live in a house. We had once in the yeshiva, we had a bird like this that got in. Nobody could catch it. We had pigeons that came in, we were able to catch it easily. Birds like this, they're like a fly, you know what I mean? They know how to get away from people. They're very, very nimble. So it's called a dror, according to some. But the point is, it's very small in size. And here's something very interesting. In Beit Tzadaf Chavdalid, the Gemara says over there that if somebody has a mother and daughter, so if you decide to, that's what the Gemara says, if I remember correctly, if you decide to eat, let's say, the mother in Yontif, you should tie something to the mother, so you know it's the mother, so you don't eat the child in one day. The point is that it seems like from the Gemara that it's very hard to differentiate between the mother and the child because they're very similar in size. I'll call it Panim V'Oifen. The Gemara says, so if you're talking about this, it's very easy to understand. You look outside, they're all the same size. You don't have a large one, you have a small one. And if you shech this one, some of the blood will tint the water slightly, but it won't overwhelm the water. You'll be able to see it. But at the same time, you never have where you won't see it at all. And you don't have where the water will overcome the blood and the blood will overcome the water. Higdim offer. Offer again means, what the ayin means dirt. If he put the dirt on the bottom of the vessel and then he poured the water chayim into the vessel, l'mayim pasal. Higdim offer l'mayim, the halacha is pasal. Reb Shimon machshir. Reb Shimon says it's okay. My time with Reb Shimon. The reason is because it says in the pasuk. So, therefore, it's mutter. Why? Because it says mafar. You again, going back to the pasuk of a paraduma. With the ayin, it means dirt. Now, the problem is that a paraduma, when you burn it, you don't have dirt, you have ashes. We spoke about it before. It's ashes. The reason why the Torah switched the word, even though we're talking about ashes and it's speaking about dirt, to teach you something. It says by Sotah offer also. So Memela, I learned from here that the water comes first and only afterwards you put the dirt. And just like over here by the paraduma, if I put the dirt in first and then I pour the water over it, it's kosher. How do I know this? The Gemara is going to say in a second. So do by Sotah. Also, how do I know? Trey proiksiv, because it says two psukim siv Allah alma efer. Let's see if we have it here. Oh, here, yeah, this possible. You should first put the dirt on the bottom, the afer, the ashes, and then you put the water on top of it. But then it also says that you're supposed to put it inside the vessel. So which one is it? The water should go directly in the vessel. El Kelly, in the vessel, and there's no dirt there. But it says in the green, it says they should put the dirt in first, the ashes first, and then the water. So which one is it? Sivalov alma efer bereisha. You put the water on top of the ashes. Uchsiv ma'im chaim el Kelly, and it says the water goes directly into the vessel, not on ashes. Alma ma'im bereisha. Okay, so Rotz is anoisen, Rotz is anoisen. So the Tanakhama says it depends. Whatever you want, it's your choice. You can put the ashes in first. You can put the water in first. Rabbanon el Kelly dafka. No. First comes the water. El Kelly has to go directly into the vessel. So then why does it say olav, that you put v'nos and olav? It seems like that the ashes are there first. No. To teach the another that you should mix it up. Ve'im olav dafka el kli shtech using b'kli. Maybe no. Maybe olav means they should first put the ashes and then pour the water on top of it. So then why does the Torah say El Kelly? To teach us that the vessel that you draw, let's say this is the vessel. You go and you draw water. That's it. This is the vessel that it remains forever. You can't pour this into a second kli. Once you pour in the second kli, it's no good anymore. Maybe that's what it's coming to tell us. That there's only one kli that you can use. The kli that you draw the water, that's the kli that you use. Says the Gemara. We find, says Rashi, in two other places. By the Metzora, we put the blood on top of the water. And we find by Sotah, we put the dirt on top of the water. Afkan, so too by the paraduma, you take the ashes and you put it on top of the water. Machshir is the thing that makes it work. By Sotah water, what makes the Sotah water work? What's machshir? What makes it going? Gets it going by putting the dirt on top of the water. By a metzora, what gets the water going? By putting the blood on top. So too, what's machshir by the paraduma? You take water from a spring and you pour the ashes on it. It has to be on top. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.